Hi, my name is Jordan Reyne, and you're looking at video 1 from a 2-part video series on the TC Helicon Voicelive 3 that is going out as part of the Sound and Sound issue this month. Now, the thing about the Voicelive 3 is that it's quite complex. It's almost an instrument in its own right. So it really does pay to go to the website and download the manual because there is a lot to know about it. So this tutorial aims at giving you a quick start into using the Voicelive 3. Now, the nice idea that they've thought of, it's kind of a metaphor to help you understand how the unit works, is that everything works in layers. There are 3 layers to the Voicelive 3. One is the vocal layer, one is the guitar layer, and one is the loop layer. Now, with the Voicelive 3, accessing the various layers centers around one switch, and that is the switch that's labeled looper and has a little icon of a guitar and a microphone above it. I'm going to cut away to that now. See, there you have it. That is like the main access all areas kind of button that you need to know about. Now, if you tap on that button and it goes blue, you are in the vocal layer. If you tap on that button and it goes red, you're in the guitar layer. If you hold that button down, it will go pink, and that means you're in the looper layer. Hold it down again, you get out of the looper layer, and then start tapping between vocal and guitar, whichever one you're wanting to access. So, tap that looper pedal once so that the light goes blue on your Voicelive 3, and you are in the vocal layer. Now, what you can do from here is go through some of the presets using either the foot switches on the far right, or you can tap through them in various other ways that we're going to get to in a minute. There are literally hundreds of presets to choose from. Now, this is wonderful in terms of the potential for creativity and getting amazing sounds happening. However, it can be a little bit daunting if you're looking for something that you've got in mind, or you just want to try things out for fun. Now, they already know this, which is good. They've got some very good practical considerations on this unit, and one of them is the button called the genre button. So to save you from scrolling through, I think it's 250 plus presets simply using those foot switches on the far left, you can tap the genre button to access various folders basically where sounds are grouped together for various reasons. So let's do that now. Tap on the genre button and the little red light should appear and the LCD display should change. Should look like this. Now, of course, I'm going to grab it too, because again, there are so many variables in there. I can't remember them all off the top of my head. And so you will see in front of you on the LCD, the little genre button light should be flashing, meaning you're in that right sort of area on the LCD. You'll notice at the very top of the LCD display is the word genre. Now, again, the little dials directly underneath the LCD display are what you use to scroll through things. So using the dial on the far left, let's have a look. You have various options available. Some of them are grouped under musical types, so like country sounding presets or rock sounding presets. Other ones are grouped in ways that are sort of more practically based, like you need some harmony. So here is a folder full of presets that have harmony components. Or for guitarists and vocalists alike, folders full of presets that involve harmonic spaces. Of course, you'll find some repeats inside these folders. However, they're smaller groups, so they're a lot easier to manage and play about with. So once you find a folder of presets that sounds like what you're looking for, let's say, because they're very famous for their harmony generating effects, let's say you want to look in the harmony folder. So once you have it up there using the dials, add 1 or 2 harmony effects to your performance, it should say. You tap on the genre button again. Now that familiar LCD display should appear with the names of presets and the sort of broad stroke foot switch equivalents displayed on there as well. However, the list will be a lot shorter than 250 presets, which makes it easier. Again, you just scroll through them using either the little arrows under the great big turny dial thing or the foot switches on the far left of the main board. Now, what you will notice is whatever preset it calls up, the name of that preset will appear on the LCD, but also some of the foot switches will be lit up. Now, this is one of the clever ways that the Voicelive 3 people have come up with for organising sounds, preset sounds, and how you can change them. Now, I call this the broad brushstrokes part, and that's things like delay and reverb and harmony and micromodulation are sort of mainstays in making up a preset's sound. So the reason those lights are on is because they are part of that sound. So if you see the foot switch labelled harmony with a light around it, that's part of the preset. If you see a foot switch with the label reverb with its light on, that means there's reverb in that preset too. What you can do is just tap on those foot switches to get rid of or to add those components to the preset, which is quite a handy sort of broad stroke way of changing things quickly on the fly. Just to run through an example of what I'm talking about, when I entered the vocal layer, my Voicelive 3 went to effect 195, which is two high harmonies. So I'm not playing my instrument to this, which means it's going to sound weird, but this is what it sounds like. So you can hear there's a harmony on there, right? And you'll notice also, if you're happening to use that preset as well, that the light is on around the foot switch that has the word harmony on it. So what I'm going to do, just to show that there's a big broad brushstrokes change you can do immediately, is tap on the harmony button. It's right here next to me, so to get rid of the harmony. And now it sounds like this. You notice it's got reverb on it, right? The reverb light is still on because I didn't turn that off. I could if I wanted to mess around with that preset more using the broad brushstrokes foot switches. So, to the fine-tuning changes on the presets, part of what's really powerful about the Voicelive 3 is the ability to alter the presets to some very specific detailed levels. You can also, of course, save them once you've done that. So looking at how to get into those finer brush strokes on changing the presets, how you do this for the vocal layer, we're still in the vocal layer, you hit on the vocal button now. You see the part in the LCD area where there's a little word that says vocal. Tap on that with your finger and a red light should appear. The red light appears and you will notice that the display on the LCD has also changed. Now I'm bringing this up so that I can read it as I do this because I do not have a photographic memory. So the LCD has changed and you'll notice there are a number of tabs that have appeared on the screen here. So we are still in the preset that we were in before, okay, so we haven't changed out of it. What this is doing is allowing us to do fine detailed changes on the preset that we were already in. So I'm still in 195, too high. You'll notice the tabs, right, they read across the top like this. Harmony, then double, then delay, then reverb, then hard tune, and then synth. Each of those tabs has ways of altering the preset sound. So let's start with harmony, because this is the one that's kind of the most obvious, right? So this is the first tab. Now, to change through the tabs, there's a couple of buttons under the great big dial. You tap on those, and that will change the tab you're working in. But at the moment, I actually just want to stay in the harmony tab, which is the one it defaults to. So we're going to have a look at that. If you're in the same preset as me, that will currently say high and higher. Whichever preset you're using, though, it'll have some kind of icon of a face and maybe other faces, right? Because it's about how many voices are going on in this preset. So I've got one that says high and higher. Now, how I alter the things in this preset is with the little dials underneath the LCD screen. So at the moment, the tab that's lit up is harmony, and the dials underneath will alter various components of the harmony aspect. So the very first dial, so the one on the far left, this left, high and higher, at the moment it sounds like this, okay? So I've got two higher harmonies. I'm going to turn this dial just one click, and now it says low and lower. So what that means is I've just changed the harmony component of the preset to give me different kinds of harmonies, namely a low one and a lower one. So it'll sound like this. There are various ones that you can use here, and I quite like some of them. Some of them are deeply experimental. Others are very useful. There's everything in between. It's really good for songwriting. Here's upper choir, for example. Now, the other thing you can tell when I'm using is this, some of the algorithms for voice generation are actually quite good. We're still in the harmony tab. The next knob along, dial along, says lead level. Okay, now mine is already on max, so I can't increase the sound of my lead vocal. But if I go along to the one next to it, this should be the harmony level. I can turn those down. Now this is actually quite important because it allows you to do some quite subtle mixes. If you've got very weird effects going on in the harmony, what you want to do is pull back the level of the backing voices or the harmony voices. So that's a very handy feature. What we're going to do next is go into the next tab. This one is called double. There's often a double component too, just to thicken up your voice in some of the presets. Again, there is a very useful dial called level. It's the second to the right, which allows you to pull back the double on your voice, because sometimes too much can just sound odd, though the algorithms, like I say, are really good. I tend to pull that one back. The other one you will notice in the double tab is humanize, if you're on the same preset as I am, 195. The humanize dial allows you to alter the extent to which that second voice or third voice or second two voices sounds human. So at the moment we've got it sounding like this. That's on 30% humanize according to the numbers on this. So I'm going to turn it all the way up to 100. You can probably hear that sounds a whole lot more like a bunch of me singing, right? Because it's going to generate the sounds from the sound of your own voice and also your guitar. But that one is actually quite convincing. It sounds like loads of versions of me singing with myself. So if you really love the sound of your own voice, it's really good to go into that tab and alter the humanize dial. And, you know, a lot of us do. We know what we're working with. So that's a very handy feature as well. Of course, you've got other tabs to alter the delay and the reverb to a finer extent. The other thing not to be overlooked is this massive dial on the far right-hand side. What that does, if you try turning it, is it will give you more layers that are available in each of those tabs. These are more aspects of the preset that you can alter. So you can really get into the nitty-gritty of these sounds here. You can alter each voice on a 3-part harmony individually, changing the humanize, and also changing how the harmony is generated. Okay, still in the harmony tab, use the great big dial to the right, turn it slightly to the right. You'll notice that the display scrolled up a bit. You've got even more options below those first few options with which you can play around. Right, if you scroll down to about position 3, you'll notice one of the most important modes on offer here when you're altering the presets. This is one called mode. At the moment, I'm in preset 195, like I said, and most of them default to this mode. It's called natural play. What natural play means is it's going to use the sound of your instrument to set the notes by which the harmonies are generated. You can also set it to do a low fixed harmony, meaning that there'll be an unchanging note accompanying your voice as you sing. You can also set it to generate root notes in whatever chord you're playing on your instrument that sound like a vocal harmony. So there's full control really over how these harmonies are generated. To alter it, turn the great big dial so that the area that says natural play is lit white. That means that's the parameter that you're altering. Then you use the dials. So the far left dial in this case will alter it from natural play. You can go to scale, shift, and pedal. These are also different modes of generating harmonies. So play around with those and see whether or not you like them. But this is the way that you can do the fine-tuning aspects of the presets to gain full control over them. Because of the joys of editing, guitar has just suddenly miraculously appeared in my hands. Continuity. I'm never particularly good at that. Anyway, what I wanted to demonstrate was this thing called natural play, right, which is the default for a lot of the presets in terms of harmony generation. What it does is analyse your guitar sound and your vocal sound to generate the harmonies. It should be sort of fitting to whatever chords you're playing. I tend to write stuff with vocal loops that I sing in myself, which is a different kind of style of performance entirely. We'll get into that in video 2 when we go through the looper, but if you're someone that likes the harmonies to be generated for you, the unit is very, very good at doing these. So given that playing my own stuff wouldn't actually be a very good demonstration of the capabilities of the Voicelive 3, I'm going to actually play something that's quite traditional, because a lot of old traditional country songs, rock songs and folk songs have 3-part harmonies that sort of go in parallel all the way through them. So choosing that kind of song and making sure it's not one that's copyrighted is the best way to demonstrate some of these effects. So again, I'm still in preset 195, which is 2 high harmonies. So it defaults to natural play, which means it's going to follow my guitar playing to generate the harmonies.
There's a song, a sigh of the weary. Hard times come again no more. Many days you have lingered around my cabin door. Oh, hard times come again no more. Oh, hard times come again no more.
And the point of that is really to demonstrate how lovely the harmony generating algorithms on the Voicelive 3 actually are. I think they sound really wonderful. And if you are a fan of folk music or even country music, it's not always my thing, but there's a very wonderful album called Trio by Dolly Parton, Emmylou Harris and Linda Ronstadt with some incredible harmonies on it, and using that particular preset, 2 high, it sounds a heck of a lot like the album, which is a lot of fun to sing. So, next on the list is the looper. This is where it sounds like it'll get complicated, but it's surprisingly non-complicated. And if you haven't tried looping before, you really need to. It's one of the most fun things in terms of music creation that I've come across. I've been using loopers for about 5 years, so I hope you find it interesting. And tune in for video 2.